Hello friends, Jai Shri Ram. Today let us see how to make garlic bread at home. So I've made one garlic bread, another garlic bread. Um, to make this, I've used plain butter, some brown bread, and some seasoning. In seasoning, the most important ingredient is your garlic powder. And then two other important things are oregano and chili flakes. Now, here's the secret. First of all, heat a kadhai and inside that take some butter. In that butter you put all this seasoning, that means garlic powder, oregano and chili flakes. Okay, what is the proportion? See, oregano, chili flakes and garlic powder together should be 1 teaspoon. 1 teaspoon, this much, 1 teaspoon, and this should be 1 tablespoon. Got the idea? So you put 1 tablespoon of butter and 1 teaspoon of all of these three together. Okay, and that will be your seasoning. Now here the seasoning is a little more and butter is a little less, but you organize it like this. So I'll just put some more butter to balance it off. Okay, this much of seasoning is too much, so I need to put a lot of butter to adjust it off. Okay, I'll turn on the heat. I'll keep the heat on low flame. Okay, I'll just heat it enough to melt the butter. That is all. The intention is not to roast these spices in this butter. It is only to melt the butter so that everything becomes a homogeneous mixture. Okay, some people don't even do this. Some people just put it in a bowl and they keep whispering it. Instead of that, I would recommend that please heat it a bit so that everything mixes up well. So this should be the consistency overall. There should be very little oregano, chili flakes and garlic powder and very much of butter. Butter should be more, flavoring should be less. Okay, once you reach this stage, turn off the heat. Do not heat it too much. You don't want them to burn or you don't want them to get roasted. Okay, so just keep it like this. Also, it's a good tip to have this kind of a plate somewhere so that you can keep the spoons into it. Now you take a pan. Now this pan, I've already made this from it, that's why it's not very clean, but you can have a clean pan. Now what you do is you take some of this, maybe 1 tablespoon, sorry, 1 teaspoon of it. This is not 1 tablespoon, think about it, it's just 1 teaspoon. Or maybe let me show it to you. Let me take a 1 teaspoon. This is 1 teaspoon. Okay, 1 teaspoon of seasoning. Put it on your pan. Okay, obviously it will collect at the center, no problem there, no problem. Now what you do is you take one bread. You take a bread, you try to spread it using this bread. Okay, spread it nicely until now the pan is not heated up. You have just spread it nicely. Okay, flip it on the other side also, keep spreading it nicely. So you have used only 1 teaspoon of seasoning and you have spread it nicely on both the sides. Okay, this is step number 1. Step number 2 is you turn on the pan on low flame. Everything is to be on the low flame. Now let it heat for a while. Now while it is heating, do not let it rest. Always keep moving it. So how do you move it? You move it using 2 spoons. You just move it by applying reverse force on reverse edges. So these are the diagonal edges. Apply one force on this side, another force on this side. So automatically it will rotate, right? So keep rotating it. You have to keep doing this as long as it is getting heated. Do not let it stick. This is a very, very important thing. You cannot let it stick. Okay, you keep doing this. If you are an expert, then you can also move it like this. But while doing this, you should not apply too much of pressure on the bread, otherwise the bread won't remain fluffy. And as you know, the bread should be fluffy in this case. So you just keep moving it like this. Over the time, you'll realize that the edges start becoming a little crispy. You will start smelling all these spicing agents. You will see, you can start smelling them. You can smell the aroma. Okay. You can also alternatively, you can keep pushing it on one side and collect it in another spoon on the other side, and you try to flip and see, I flipped it and then I'm moving this back so that it falls nicely. Okay, it is not heated up so much, and the other end I'm starting to heat now. It will also not heat up so much. But here you will see that the seasoning is not at all present, so you can add more seasoning. Or if it is unevenly distributed, then you can add seasoning now. So initially I only added 1 teaspoon of seasoning. It stayed mostly on one side and that to at the center. Now is my time to keep flipping it over again and again and checking whether the seasoning is not evenly distributed. Okay, I'll keep doing this. Yeah, you can also move it in the opposite direction as well, so that the seasoning gets distributed uniformly. Take it like this, flip it over. Okay, this side the seasoning is very well distributed, and this is how you want to see that. Now, what can go wrong? What can go wrong is sometimes the butter is more and you want to dap it with something. So do not use a paper napkin for that. Use another piece of bread. So maybe if you think that there's too much of butter and you don't like so much of butter, just dap it with another piece of bread. So this is just a tip that you can use. Why am I telling you all these things, and why don't I tell you to do it right the first time? Because I feel even if the food goes wrong in the first time, you can always correct it. There is always a chance of correcting food. Okay, once this is done, again it's hot. I'm not trying to use my hands anywhere. I'm moving it aside and I'm flipping it like this. Now this is the texture that is good enough. Now do not heat beyond this. If you heat more than this, then it will start burning up. Okay, so this is okay. I mean, this is golden brown. Do not make it brown black. Don't do that. This should be golden brown at max. This is more than sufficient. Okay, now you just keep moving it. There's another signal. If it starts burning, then you will see fumes or smoke rising. Smoke means something is burning. So don't let it reach that. See, smoke, 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 smoke. Take it off. See, it was almost about to start to burn. So as soon as you see the smoke, take it off. And now I'll turn off the heat and let me demonstrate to you how we cool it. For cooling it, I'm using this stand. So this is the stand which comes with your microwave. Okay, now why am I cooling it on this? And if you don't have it, then you can cool it on a bowl like this. But do not keep it in the plate directly, because if you keep it in the plate, then this is hot, so it will release moisture, it will release steam. That steam released from the bottom part of it will condense on the plate and it will form water droplets, and those water droplets will dampen your garlic bread, so it won't remain crispy anymore. Even if it were crispy earlier, it won't remain crispy because it has soaked some water. So what is crispiness? Crispiness means lack of water. So the water should evaporate as steam, and whatever is left, half burnt thing, that is called as something crispy. Okay, now it is turning crispy. You can see that now it does not bend so much as a normal bread would, and if you move your finger on it, you can see that it is pretty crispy now. But still, whichever parts didn't have the seasoning, they are not very crispy. You can bend them. You can put the finger and the finger goes in, but here you cannot bend it. Can you see that? Can you see that? Does it come in the camera? I don't know. But wherever the seasoning is more, wherever this burning thing is more, these parts become more crispy, especially the edges, because most of the seasoning has gone to the edges, so they become very, very crispy on both the side. Now this is how you cool it. Now this one is already cooled down. Now I'll try to cut it like this just to show it to you how crispy it was. Or maybe even this is cold enough now. Maybe I'll use this one. Let me put this aside and let me show you how to cut it. So put it in a plate, and you try to cut it like this. So while cutting, you should be able to hear something. So I'll stop speaking so that you can hear me cut it. Even if I move my finger or anything pointed or anything hard on it, it's going to make a sound. That means it is crispy. Can you hear that? The other side is also crispy, right? When it is like this, you can always cut it using this kind of a blade. Do not use this kind of a blade. This kind of a blade is having a lot of teeth into it. Can you see that in the camera? So this blade has a lot of teeth into it. Do not use this kind of a blade. Okay, this is used for fruit cutting. Use this kind of a blade having a solid edge without any teeth, and you cut it like this. Okay, so initially you cut it up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and once that is done, you move it from top to bottom. That's how you cut it. Now, how to serve it? Now, many people serve it like this, but feel welcome to try whichever type you like. Now, normally people would serve it in some decorative form like this, and maybe I'll cut this one also and I'll put it there. And then on the other side, they'll put some ketchup. So this is how you would normally serve your garlic bread. Do let me know how you cook your garlic bread. Do let me know if my recipe needs some improvement anywhere. It will help me out. And until next time, Jai Shri Ram. This is Amit Shirasao, and you can support me at amit.shirasao@UPI.